DGEF Namaskar and Teela Pranam.
What is the energy policy of India and who makes it?
इसका एक different question भी हो सकता है. There are 5 components of law. The question is that what is the meaning of policy? Is there an energy policy? Is there a national solar policy? And how do we define it? How do we understand what is the national electricity or energy policy of India? So from today onwards, we will be absolutely clear for our careers in next 20, 30, 40 years जब तक हम एनर्जी सेक्टर में हैं कि एनर्जी पॉलिसी का क्या मतलब है. सबसे सिंपलेस्ट वे ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग एनर्जी पॉलिसी इज कम्स फ्रॉम चाणक्य, द ग्रेट इकोनॉमिस्ट ऑफ इंडिया. ही सेड देयर आर 4 mechanisms which the state uses to guide its citizen. That is साम, दाम, दंड और भेद. साम का मतलब ये होता है रिक्वेस्ट, दाम का मतलब ये होता है give offer some incentive, दंड का मतलब होता है punishment, and भेद का मतलब होता है interaction, discussion, judgment. These are the 4 concepts which has been given by Chanakya. Sam and dam is policy, dand and bhed is like law. In Western philosophy we call it carrot and stick policy. So government sometimes use carrot and sometimes it uses stick, दंडाधिकारी. So carrot जब use करती है government, then it is called policy. जब डंडा या stick use करती है, then it is called law. What the question is, what is the energy policy of India? To understand energy policy of India, you have to understand 6 things. If you understand 6 things, that is the energy policy of India. Firstly, there is no national solar policy. Remember, to understand solar policy, there are 6 things. First, if any document is released by the government of India or state government with the word policy, it is policy. Second, if any document is released by the government of India or the state government with the word guidelines, it is also policy. Third, if the government releases any document with the word plan के alternative words जो होते हैं वो है program, roadmap, mission, then it is also policy. Fourth, if the government releases any document with the word scheme, sometimes we would use the word scheme, but sometimes the word fund is also used. Fifth, if the government uses or local authority uses the word bylaws, it is also policy. So if there is a local authority, Delhi Development Authority, which says that every hotel has to have solar panel or water heating systems, then it is a policy. Sixth, if there is a model law, so a model act has been made, तो central government की कुछ cases में powers नहीं है. So for example, land से related, if you are going for solar land acquisition, land is a state subject, so central government does not have power. It can make policies, it cannot make. Law will be made by the state government. Policy कैसे बनाती है central government? वो बोलती है चलो एक model act बना देते हैं. तो model act can be followed by all the states and it is optional. You will ask a counter question. We have understood that these 6 things are policy. So now going forward, if we come up these words, policy, guidelines, plan, program, roadmap, mission, एक ही चीज है, scheme or fund, bylaws or model act, we'll clearly understand this is the policy. But what is the difference? Is there any difference in these words? The answer is yes, there are differences. And how to identify differences, that I will tell you. If government is making policy, then it is telling why and what. So why government, it is a vision statement. If there is a word policy, then it is why and what. So why government is doing something? So climate change mitigation, this is why. What government is planning to do? Promote hydrogen. It becomes a policy. Second, if government wants to tell some SOP, standard operating procedure, or how to do something, then the government releases a guidelines. So guidelines is nothing but a standard operating procedure, how to do something. So there will be a procedure, methodology. So you can call it procedure, methodology, or guidelines. Alternative words. Third, plan. So plan, program, roadmap, mission. So whenever government wants to tell who will do it, where it will be done, and when it will be done. So who will do it means whether it is the district administration, district collector who is responsible, whether it is the state principal secretary or chief minister who is responsible, whether it is the central government or some authority, who will do it. Second, where it will be done. So it may be a district program, it may be a state program, it may be a model pilot project, it may be national project. नेशनल मिशन बोलते हैं, स्टेट मिशन बोलते हैं, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिशन, ट्राइबल मिशन भी हो सकता है, वेयर ओनली ट्राइबल एरियाज आर फोकस्ड. सो वेयर इट विल बी डन वो प्लान में लिखा होता है. थर्ड, व्हेन भी प्लान में लिखा होता है, वेदर इट इज अ 5-year प्लान, वेदर इट इज ओनली एनुअल प्लान, वेदर इट इज अ मंथली प्लान, वेदर इट इज बाय एनुअल प्लान. दिस इज व्हेन. सो व्हेन यू सी अ प्लान, प्रोग्राम, रोड मैप, मिशन, it is who, where and when. And this is a system to achieve specific objectives. Let us come to scheme. कोई भी आपसे बोले कि सर मुझे पैसे से मतलब है, मुझे पता है, बताइए कि क्या, हाउ डू वी गेट money for maybe solar project or viability gap funding, or tell him go and look for schemes. The chances are there, it is about money. So when government is giving some incentive in the form, it is financial benefit. In that case, government releases a scheme. Sometimes usko dash fund बोल देते हैं, climate change fund or some other fund. All right. And it is this fund or scheme, if you, whenever you see a budget में जो इसको बोलते CFA, Central Financial Assistance, Central Government की बात कर रहा हूं, it is in part A of the budget. So from part A of the budget, you can find out कि अगले financial year में what the government is intending, what kind of schemes will come out. It will be PLI or some other fund. Fifth is bylaws. So there will be a power exchange, जिसके bylaws होंगे. It is a local authority. Delhi Development Authority, Bhopal Development Authority, any development authorities, they may have bylaws. It is also a policy. Sixth is Model Act. तो सबके एक एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं तो एग्जाम्पल से और क्लियर हो जाएगा. अब मॉडल एक्ट के एग्जाम्पल से बात करें तो सबसे पहले एक मॉडल एक्ट बनाया गया विच इज कॉल्ड कंक्लूसिव लैंड टाइटलिंग एक्ट. It is a model act released by the Niti Aayog in 2020 for the state government. It is a draft model act. एक model act draft करा है नीति आयोग ने, Consolidated Land Titling Act. ये किस लिए draft करा है? Because सोलर के लिए जब land acquisition करते हैं तो हम presumptive title में चल रहे हैं. After doing due diligence report, we presume या presumptive title होता है, conclusive title नहीं होता है. It is not mandated by the state government. After, if this model act is applied by the state governments, it will be conclusive title. Second, there is example. This is called Agriculture Land Leasing Act 2016. It is a model act. It is also released by the government. Central government एक model act बना दिया कि भाई states आप follow कर लीजिए. इसमें leasing के provisions हैं जहां पे you can earlier leasing out agricultural land was very very difficult. So whenever we used to go to the farmers and said कि भाई 25 साल के लिए हमें दे दीजिए land, बोलेंगे वो land revenue code बीच में आ जाता था और बहुत सारी चीजें आ जाती थी. उसको मिटिगेट करने के लिए एक मॉडल एग्रीकल्चर लैंड लीजिंग एक्ट बनाया गया 2006 में. इट इज ओनली पॉलिसी बिकॉज इट इज अ मॉडल एक्ट. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, क्योंकि स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की सारी पावर्स है ना. लेट अस टेक एग्जांपल ऑफ पॉलिसी. तो पॉलिसी में नेशनल सोलर पॉलिसी तो कोई है नहीं, बट आप 5-6 चीजें साथ में पढ़ेंगे. अगर इफ सम फॉरेनर कम्स एंड सेज कि सर ये नेशनल सोलर पॉलिसी बता दीजिए, तो बोल दो कि नेशनल सोलर पॉलिसी कुछ भी नहीं है, बट आप 5-6 चीजें साथ में पढ़ेंगे तो यू कैन कॉल इट नेशनल सोलर पॉलिसी. So there is a National Tariff Policy 2016, National Electricity Policy 2020, there is National Wind Solar Hybrid Policy 2018, there is National Offshore Wind Policy 2015, Policy on Hydropower Development 1998, Mega Power Project Policy 2009, Rural Electrification Policy 2008. अपने jurisdiction के हिसाब से सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने ये सारी पॉलिसीज बना दी हैं. Combined reading of these policies, you can call it is a national solar policy. Whatever powers are there with the state government, they will have their own policy. So you have two advantages. You can take benefit from the central government also, you can take benefit from the state government, because it is a joint responsibility of central and state government. So these are examples of the policy. Let us come to guidelines. Guidelines for payment of compensation towards damages in regard to right of way for transmission lines 2015. So right of way के लिए guidelines सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने बना दिए. Similarly, guidelines for tariff-based bidding process for procurement of power from grid-connected solar PV power projects 2017. Similarly, CEA has come out with cyber security in power sector guidelines 2021. Then guidelines for import-export cross-border of electricity 2018. These are the guidelines. These are the standard operating procedures, methodology, how to do something. Let us take examples of plan. So we have National Electricity Plan 2005. Then we have Remote Village Electricity Program. Then we have National Action Plan for Climate Change. Then Smart City Program. Then Green Hydrogen Mission. National Clean Air Program. These are the examples of plan, program, roadmap, mission. Let us come to funds, schemes. So there are several. If you talk about earlier schemes, then Integrated Power Development Scheme, IPDS, Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, Unnat Jyoti by Affordable Lead for All Scheme, Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Utthan Maha Abhiyan, PM Kusum Scheme, Grid Connected Rooftop Solar Scheme, VGF Scheme, CPSU Scheme, Defense Scheme. There are several schemes. So these are some of the examples of schemes. Let us come to bylaws. Recently, model building bylaws have been released, wherein charging infrastructure for buildings, how it works, that has been provided. Local areas में जो भी bylaws बनते हैं municipal corporation के, if you see those bylaws, there are provisions कि भाई water heater लगाना compulsory है hotels के लिए या institutions के लिए, या solar panel लगाना compulsory है. So these are bylaws. To sum it up, 6 things together constitute policy of the nation. Number 1 is where the word is policy. Second, the word guidelines, procedure and methodology. Third, plan, program, roadmap, mission. Fourth, scheme. Fifth is bylaws. And sixth is model act. If you see these 6 things together, you will understand the policy of the nation and you will know what is the direction, vision, mission, how the government is thinking. Law or policy में ये difference है. Policy is optional. It is voluntary. If you want to use that policy, you will get some benefit. If you don't want, you don't apply that policy, you will not get the benefit. But law is compulsory. This is the difference between law and policy. For people and for industry, it is incentive and encouragement. But you cannot go to the court of law and enforce it. You cannot tell me today, sir, you are a corporate lawyer, please go to a court of law and enforce this policy. No. Indirectly, we can enforce in the sense it is of persuasive value. So if court has nothing else to rely on, then what we will say, sir, this is the policy, and then the court will take it as a persuasive value and apply